Okay,
All right.
last segment. This segment is basically about voting.
All right.
And we want to know, one, if you registered to vote.
Yes.
Two, why do you vote?
Okay.
And three, why is it that students don't vote?
Good questions. Well, one, I vote.
And
Main
wait,
reason why.
and you know
Oh.
what? To be honest, with you voting,
hmm
do you vote in Greensboro?
Well, I vote in Greensboro. The last election, I voted in Greensboro.
Okay.
First in '08 when I was able to vote, I voted in Durham.
hmm
But it doesn't matter where you vote, but it's just as long as you do vote. I believe in voting out of respect for everyone that worked so hard for me to vote. You know what I mean? Um, Politics, I'm not big into politics. If you tell me the next bill or something someone's had, someone paid, I probably wouldn't know. But I do listen enough to, understand the majority of what's going on, what I like, what I don't like. Um, so I vote mainly just out of respect for, everyone who died and, got whipped and, water hosed down for us to have equal rights and for us to vote. I vote for that. You can't forget about that. That's where my family and stuff came from. I live in the South. I mean, it doesn't matter really where you live, but living in the South, you really should vote anyway, just because off strength alone. Um, People don't vote. Why kids don't vote? Um, because it doesn't affect our day-to-day lives. Our day-to-day lives really are not different from ever since I can remember. I remember Clinton, Bush, to now having Obama. My life hasn't changed. You know what I mean? Like, as far as, the same stuff I was doing, when Clinton was here, the same way my family was. It's the same way my family is now. People promise to do this, they promise to do that. And if it gets done, if it doesn't get done, at the end of the day, my mom and my dad was working, brought home money. They still taught me lessons. I still went to school. I was fine where I was at, and I think I was just fortunate enough, because I didn't have to have really what the president was saying really didn't affect my the way I viewed my city or anything. Like, we always had enough money to do what we needed to do and struggle and stuff like that. I was fortunate enough for that. So, I mean, I think a lot of people are fortunate enough like that. And so, when politicians talk about, um, you know, tax cuts and stuff like that, people are still working, people are still getting by, people are still making it. And, they feel like that it's not, if it doesn't affect them tomorrow, or if it doesn't affect them right now, then, they're not going to do anything. So that's why they don't do that. And what was the last question?
That was the question. And
Okay.
sad to say that, just talking to our peers, a lot of peers feel as though since it doesn't impact their immediate future. And by immediate, I'm talking about within the next 24 hours
Right.
of
That's
that
what it
current
is.
day.
Right.
They're not worried about it. Ironically, what we don't know, what most of us don't know, is that the individuals who are, or the subgroup that's being hit the hardest with these job cuts and budget deficit is you and I, really.
Right.
We're being hit the most, but we're probably so numb to living our day-to-day routine that we don't realize that it's being snatched right from under us.
Right.
The good thing is, by 2012, we'll both be graduates. unfortunately, those of our friends who will still be here, after the calendar year of 2012,
Mm-hmm.
or even the freshmen coming in, class of 15 or class of 13, or whatever it may be,
Right.
they're cutting the financial aid
Oh.
in half.
Okay.
They're cutting the financial aid in half,
Right.
and they're only funding students up to, I want to say, 9 semesters.
Okay.
That's 2 years.
Right. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
And I think what we don't realize is that budget, that plan,
Mm-hmm.
is already set. The crazy thing is that a lot of things in North Carolina, specifically Greensboro, are changing rapidly, and this rate this rate that is going at,
Mm-hmm.
it could have digressed, or it could have stopped. In all honesty,
Mm-hmm.
if we as students would have woke up and would have done something to actually produce kind of change.
Right.
But since we didn't, like you said, it's not going to affect me and you as of tomorrow.
Right.
But it will affect someone behind me as of today.
Right.
It's going to affect Billy Bob's today. Because when Bob gets in his sophomore year and he tries to reapply to A&T, and they're like, well, the government stopped giving us money.
Right.
Now, granted, Chapel Hill's going to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, Duke's going to be okay. State's going to be okay.
Right.
And even though the state or the government is cutting their funding as well, the thing is that their alumni give back. And the only thing that funds the HBCUs, especially A&T, that I know of, it's not the alumni. It's the government.
Right.
The Mormons fund Brennan Young.
Mm-hmm.
Notre Dame is funded. Liberty University is funded. Seriously,
Crazy.
I mean, you think about it. All these schools are funded,
Right.
but the one thing that's not funded are the HBCUs. So we're
Dang, I didn't even know that. But see, I mean, but even saying that, when you say that, it just made me feel like, it's put a different perspective on, like, I've seen a lot of 2-year schools and a lot of trade specific schools are popping up. There's always community colleges, and I've seen just a lot of them coming up, a lot of new ones.
Yeah.
And I mean, that would make sense of they coming up because of what's going on or what's going to happen in the future. And it's messed up, man, that you can't go to school because you don't have enough money to go to school. You should have some financial aid, but they're gonna cut your financial aid. I don't know what they thought people were gonna do when tuition keeps going up, and you're gonna cut and so we can't go to school and learn.
Here's how I look
how
at
are you gonna?
Here's how I look at it.
They're just trying to stop us.
That's what I'm saying. What it seems like, dude, is to me, it seems like it's a regression into, or digressing. They're digressing into almost like a monarchy kind of thing.
Right.
If you're not a noble, and I don't mean by noble by blood, I mean noble by money.
Mm-hmm.
As far as your secondary education, you can kiss that goodbye. That's what it seems like it's going right now.
Yeah, man. Money, man.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And I think people are just getting greedy. And I mean, the next thing is going to be on a blog site is actually going to be entitled 2 pennies. I'm sorry, not even 2 pennies. A penny for your job.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll talk about that later.
See that one later.